of interest, please visit VoiceAmericaVariety.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live internet talk radio. Visit VoiceAmerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the following program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management. Do you feel beautiful? Do you look beautiful? Does one really affect the other? Welcome to Beauty Inside and Out with host Bonadeo. In our show, we'll help you uncover your true self and unleash beauty that you never knew existed in order to be at your best, both inside and out. Now, here is your host, Bonadeo.
Welcome, 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 everybody, to the month of May. Now, I don't know about you, but the month of May is like the ultimate transition month for me. So I'm in my closet, like pushing sweaters and long sleeve things to the back. I have like a big ottoman that opens up, and all the boots and winter shoes go in there, and all my sandals come out, and I start putting them on my shelving. Now, I do not have a closet like Carrie Bradshaw in Sex and the City and that, the ultimate location, but I have a closet that I can transition pretty well. And I always feel like not only is the month of May that time to be able to make these transitions, of course, unless you live in Chicago and you just got blasted with that snowstorm, but it's also the time to be able to make the transitions in our beauty regimes and our beauty routines. So my guest today is Sherri Jessee, and not only is she a makeup artist and a hairstylist, but she's also the ultimate organizer, and she's going to share with us some ways to be able to do that. So I want to do a quick shout out to everybody that listens to me on all of my networks, including the Voice America Network, which is what we're live on right now, Speak Up Talk Radio, Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher, and newly, my newest syndication is Spotify. And then I also want to thank my sponsors for the month. So Brand Me, it's an online training program for solopreneurs and entrepreneurs to be able to connect you to brand success. And you can go to www.brandme.club to find out more about that. And of course, our guest today, Sherri Jessee. Is the place that you're holding your face and your beauty routine pretty much a mess like mine is most of the time? Well, she's going to share with us how to be elegant, organized, and beautiful. And you can find all of that information today on this show, but as well at sherrijessee.com. And then, of course, Glutathione, antioxidant supplements to be able to boost your immune system, and so much more. And you can find that at glutathione.com/beauty. All right, and we'll talk more about all of this stuff as we progress through the show today. But welcome, Sherri.
Hi.
You are beautiful. You are like stunning. You're amazing. So for those of us that, you guys are watching us on Facebook, obviously you can see the beauty that Sherri Jessee is and the ability to create the transformations that she does. And if you're listening to us on audio, Sherri is going to share with us some tips and tricks to be able to maybe upgrade, up level, and organize our beauty regimes and our beauty routines. And I know I need some help on this. I can't wait to ask you some questions as we kind of dive into our show a little bit more. But first, will you give us a little bit about your story? Because I know that, not everybody grew up, came out of the womb, and decided that they were going to be a beauty professional. What's your story, Sherri?
Well, first off, I wanted to tell you, thank you, Bonnie, for having me on your podcast. I listen to it every week, and I love it, and I adore all that you do for the beauty industry and beyond. So thank you for having me on. Thank you for your kind words.
Oh, you bet.
So I have been in the beauty industry for a long time. I always say I was probably born to do it. I didn't start out thinking I was going to be a hairdresser, and I actually went to beauty school because I couldn't afford to go away to college. At the recommendation of one of my friends, she said, "You always like to cut hair. Why don't you go to beauty school?" So that's what made me end up going into hairdressing as a career. But I started cutting hair when I was about 11 years old.
On dolls or on real people?
On real people.
Okay.
On real people. My mom said that I could braid hair when I was about 4, that I was braiding her hair around 3 or 4. So.
Yeah.
And I always tell a story too. When I was 11 years old, like in junior high age, when that was before the day of Ulta and Sephora and all that, I actually painted paint on paper and let it dry and scratched it off and made my own makeup.
Oh my gosh, that's brilliant though. I mean, maybe not as safe as you'd like it to be, but I mean, it was probably just a water-based paint, right?
Yeah, just like a tempera paint. And I was determined, I made my own eyeshadows and blushes with paint. Yeah.
And then you turned it into like a powder form and then you would apply it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yes, I think you did come out of the womb ready to do beauty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I always say that I make my living doing hair, but I love doing makeup. I have a real passion for makeup. So the last 10 years or so, I've been doing makeup and hair very consistently. I had a lot of my training from David Matterich in New York City. He does all the makeup for the covers for Modern Salon, and I had numerous trainings with him to learn to do makeup for photo shoots. And so working with New York models, working directly under his tutelage, then he kind of turned me loose. And then I started working with beauty queens and models and things like that, and just created, probably hundreds of beauty editorials since then.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I'm noticing about you too is that your makeup looks really natural. It doesn't look overdone, but it definitely has, that camera ready look to it. And I think that's hard for a lot of us to do.
Well, I have my own hashtag. It's called Sherri Ready, and which means that you're always camera ready, because I think that, at any point we need to be ready, So to be Sherri Ready, I don't think that you have to have a lot of makeup. And that's really what started me doing a lot of live things. I do Facebook Live every Friday at 8 a.m. because I was seeing these makeup videos, demonstrations, and they were 1 hour, 2 hours. And I'm like, nobody has that kind of time, and really nobody needs that much makeup. So my videos are like 15 minutes, and I give a tip and a trick, and I'm like, you don't have to take 2 hours to get your makeup on. It's just the right amount of makeup applied just the right way, and it makes, brings out your best features.
Absolutely. But I love buying makeup. Now, I've made the mistake 100 times, so I'm hoping this is an area that you can kind of help us out with, and certainly touch on it now, but I feel like we're going to be touching on it thoroughly as we progress through our show today. But I always feel like I'm never sure, the right tone to buy. Should I be more peachy? Should I be more pink? Am I more tan? Am I more, yellow? And I get really confused by that. And you think after all this time, and me being a beauty professional as well, that I'd have a better grip on this. But I honestly stand in front of all of the makeup at the makeup counters and within the drugstores and Sephora's and Ulta's. And I'm like, I don't know what's my shade. I don't know what's my tone.
Well, the good thing about that is most of those places, they will, you can try it. Or they even have like exchange policies. So if you come home with the wrong thing, you can maybe exchange it. But we're changing season by season. I just had to pull out a darker foundation because I went to a music festival over the weekend and I got some tan, so I had to pick a different foundation. So from season to season, trends change. One thing, it's not one size fits all for the rest of your life. So there are a lot of options, and it can be confusing. So don't fault yourself for that, because we're all feeling that.
Yeah, definitely. And I remember back in the day, it was like being able to kind of say, you're a spring, you're a winter, you're a fall type of thing. But, you're right. It's like you came off of a festival this weekend, and so your skin's darker and your makeup may have been lighter. I like to buy the two shades that are kind of near each other. And there is that time where maybe you need to mix them. You don't want it as dark, but you don't need it as light, or skip one of the shades in between and go kind of the lighter and the little bit darker. Mm-hmm. And then you can kind of do your own blending, right?
Yeah, blending and mixing is important. And that's another key to kind of paring down your inventory when you have only a few shades and you're not afraid to mix them to get a wide variety of shades.
Well, let's talk about, first of all, because, you said you make your living doing hair, but you love and you have a passion for makeup. So tell us a little bit more about kind of where you do hair and how you're doing hair for, clients, and then of course on a professional level?
Yes. Well, I have a hair salon in Bristol, Virginia, and my daughter, she is also a licensed cosmetologist.
Oh, nice.
She and I work together. We have like a little tag team. We work side by side. She's been there with me almost 10 years. So my daughter turned out to be my best friend and my coworker. So that's awesome.
That is so awesome.
Yeah. And I started my salon about 1 month before she was born. So that's how long I've had my own salon. And literally when she was 5 days old, she was like in a little carrier watching me cut hair.
So she came out of the womb ready to be in beauty too.
Yeah. She resisted it for a little while, but then ended up coming to it for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. So you've made a living off of being a hairdresser and catering to a clientele with that. But there was that part where it's like, I want to kind of dabble in a little bit more. And so you've put yourself out there in a way to be able to kind of like you said, working with beauty pageants and beauty queens, and then being able to do editorial type work and commercials. And I know there's probably a lot of people that love makeup, whether they're in beauty or not, because it's really one of those areas that you can prosper in and not necessarily have to go down the full beauty path like we've done.
True.
And people probably are curious, how do you get those opportunities coming to you?
Well, it may or may not be very easy. I think social media helps because, you can take pictures, you can take images and get it out there so you can advertise your own work that way. I think now more than ever, social media has helped us to advertise our brand, and the business of beauty is so visual so that it really helps to do that. People starting out have a much easier way of advertising their work than what I did, 30 years ago. Kind of what got me out of my hometown and traveling the world was I worked with a hair care brand as an educator. So, I mean, I've been to, I counted the other day, total in all my travels, over 20 countries. I think it was 25 different countries. So I've literally worked all over the world, teaching hairdressers, doing photo shoots, all things like that.
That's awesome.
So if you link up with the brand, sometimes that's helpful because then they pay your way.
Yeah. One of the brands that I worked for and represented during the 90s was Sebastian. And they had a beautiful makeup line called Truco. And twice a year, they would come out with these collections that were very edgy. I mean, sometimes they weren't just like everyday, middle America women type of collections. They really had a trend feel to them and a little bit of edginess to it. And of course, being a representative of that company, we all had to kind of wear those trends. And it wasn't always kind of like an ideal fit for us, but we would figure out ways to be able to make it work. And then that kind of, maybe it was I would wear the eye palette approach, but maybe the lipstick was a little too dark for my liking, but I would still kind of wear the theme, wear the collection feel to it and everything. But they had a beautiful line. They had beautiful makeup, and it was really fun because that's where I learned kind of the art of makeup. And that's where I learned to be able to, look for different shapes and feels for my skin, my color, my style, which I think is, has always been a little bit more conservative. I'm not that edgy. But one of the areas that and I hope some of my listeners can relate to this too, but one of the areas, I've never been able to be successful wearing beautiful red lipstick without it going all over my face. Mm-hmm. Like it bleeds, it's on my teeth, it's, down my chin, it's worn off and on my glass and everywhere else in the first few minutes. And I know there's a trick to really, wear a beautiful red and have it have a little bit of staying power.
Absolutely. Well, you mentioned Truco, and I used to retail that in the salon. I love that line. I was sorry when they ended it because that was bomb. Absolutely. Really, I love that line.
Pretty.
Yeah, it was very nice. Now, as far as the red lipstick, you talk about there's so many products, and I'm a bit of a product junkie. I buy things, and I get subscriptions. I'm forever trying new things. Do I end up liking things better than what I already have? Probably not. And so I end up giving things away and whatnot, but I'm forever trying new things. And there is an amazing long wear lipstick in the color red that is perfect. And it's by Wet n Wild, and it's only like $5.
No kidding. Oh, I gotta find that.
I'm not kidding you. Mm-hmm.
I think that it's, and let me know if I'm kind of on the right path here. I think it's part quality of product and part skill of applying that makes makeup really successful for us.
I remember, okay, when I was in beauty school and we were doing perms, I remember the director of my school, she says, I can get a good perm with any brand. It's how you roll it up. So it's kind of the same idea with makeup. It's how you apply it, not necessarily what it is. You know what I mean? Even with hair color, it's not what color you're using, but knowing the right color and applying it properly.
Yes.
So I think makeup is probably along those lines. And I've used everything from high end. I love the packaging of Chanel. You know, it makes me feel so special.
And it does feel good. There's just something
Yes.
about it that is high end quality and the way that it glides on your skin.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And some things, you know, they're more finely milled, you know, the higher end. There are advantages of that, but there's some things that you can find in the mid-grade and even at the drugstore now that the quality is very good. Wet n Wild is one that I like. There's a brand called Ofra that I've been ordering some things online. I mean, Dose of Colors, you know, there's a ton of new brands. And then also private label things like I offer on my website that are also good options. So it's just like it's all over the place. And because it's not, you know, you're not necessarily breaking the bank, it's okay to like try new things.
Yeah, I found that that L'Oreal as a makeup line has just always been consistent,
Mm-hmm.
and the quality and the staying power that I think that I like. So when I do need to kind of like pick up something really fast, or I'm out of something and I didn't place the order, or I'm not at a beauty show buying a more professional brand, I find that I kind of lean towards that L'Oreal brand as well. Yeah.
Yes. You can count on that. And even my favorite long-wear lipstick is by Maybelline. And sometimes you can get them like 2 for the price of 1, and they're like $10. Or you buy another name, that maybe be $20 or $30 for 1. And I've tested them. I buy and I buy and I buy and I test, and I'm like, I like that the best.
Yeah. So you've got some amazing career highlights here that I just want to kind of let our audience know about. And we've got some people on Facebook that are saying, you are so pretty. So
thank you.
Theo, Elaine, Janie, you guys, thank you so much for watching us and joining us on here. And of course, Gerald from France, my number 1 follower. Hello, how are you? It's true. It's like makeup can transform us, but there's also a part where we don't want to feel, especially like at the point that I'm getting at where I'm aging, I don't want to be overdone, but I want to be, like you said, camera ready.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's part of your career highlights here. So Sherri has, she's done lead hair and makeup for the movie called Born in Bristol, and it's the untold story of country music. That's fantastic. Yeah. Which was shortlisted at the Cannes Film Festival. You've done several commercials, TV commercials, national and local. You have done hair for New York Fashion Week, which is a very big deal. And you were named 2013 NAHA Editorial Stylist of the Year. Congratulations on that. I remember that. I remember those days. And 2014 NAHA Editorial Finalist. You are a living legend, I think, in the hair world, just in general, with everything that you've done, a woman of style and certainly someone to watch. And you received an award for Intercoiffure, the Créateur de Mode. I don't speak French very well. I'm terrible at it. I'm sorry if I just butchered that, but that's a pretty prestigious award.
Yeah, I was able to do several photo shoots with Intercoiffure, including one that I did with the team there in France with Fatima Ampi. She and I worked with the team in France, and we both got that award. So that was really cool.
That's beautiful. And Intercoiffure, for my listeners, is a nonprofit organization. It is based out of France, but they have divisions in obviously all countries. So we have the North American division here, but it's a really high level association for salon owners that come together, learn from each other, and create some beautiful foundations and collections for other stylists and salons to be able to then take from there. And that's what Sherri was a part of. So, I mean, that's great. But not only that, you do have a bachelor's degree in education. You've done extensive work in that field of being an educator and kind of a guru. And And one of the things that I really appreciate that you do is, and you mentioned it earlier, was your lives on Friday that you do on, tell us what Facebook page you do them on, and how many followers you're up to at this point.
I do the lives every Friday at 8 a.m. on my personal Facebook page, Sherri Jessee. And I can't get any more friends. I'm like at the 5,000 limit, but you can follow from there, and then you can always share it out and things like that. I started doing those about a year and a half ago, and I've done them pretty consistently every Friday. I missed last Friday because I was at that music festival and I was like asleep in my tent and I slipped right through it. So that was an accident. But like I said earlier, my idea behind that was to kind of take a little of the mystery away. And it was really empowering and actually very frightening because I start out with no makeup. And so you see me with no makeup, and I've had up to like 4,000 or 5,000 viewers, and there I'm, out for the world to see virtually. And I have people like you all over the world, people from Singapore and France and whatnot watching, and here's Sherri with no makeup. And then I'm like, well, this is how you can do it. And then I showed the steps to getting there. And then, this is my favorite product of the week, or I really like this, or I don't like that. And hopefully, I've had really good feedback. People have said, I like doing makeup now. I'm not as afraid. That it's kind of a little bit taking the mystery out of it, or the fear factor.
Well, certainly the vulnerability that you do, because you do show up on camera without any makeup, and then you start applying makeup to yourself. And the transformation is interesting. And I love the products that you kind of highlight. And then, of course, showing the application process, because I'm like, oh, wait, I never thought about doing that. And I think one of the things I really appreciated, like you said, is kind of the organizing approach, or maybe not having so much in our, in our bag of goodies, but how to be able to use some of the same makeup, blushes on eyes and highlighters, in other areas and things like that, to be able to multi-use them. And of course, the makeup industry wants us to buy a single product for every single, reason. But I liked that you share how to be able to use some of them in different capacities. And I'm like, I never thought about doing that before.
Yes. Yeah. You don't need a lot of products. And really, especially for an aging face, I'm 55, you find that less is more. What I found is the more products I piled on, it doesn't get better. It's kind of like, you're like, okay, you're good. And then all of a sudden, no, it's terrible. You better get a washcloth and wash it off.
Over that edge where you've got the pink cheeks and the red lips and the...
Just too much. It was a couple weeks ago, and I piled it on, and for my video, and I piled it in highlighter and this and that, and I got to work, and I'm thinking I'm looking pretty good, and then all of a sudden I looked in the mirror, and I'm like, that is way too much. And I just took like a makeup wipe, and I just took it all off, everything off on my skin, because it's like, I think that we're really hung up on putting too much foundation, all that contouring and powdering and baking and highlighting and all of that, when your real skin just looks better. If you have a bump or, like a little dark circle, pat a little concealer on and then go the rest just with your own naked skin, I think is better.
I think there's definitely something to be said to that. And I know that it's, I like kind of the coverage and then creating, but a lot of times I like really just touching up and having that, like you have that shine on your face that's really beautiful. I love that. I think that looks very natural, and I think it makes you look very youthful. And, speaking of age 55, since we both hit that double nickel age here,
yes.
And that we are the same age, what are some tips before we take a break here? What's a couple tips you can share for us women at this age of what to do or what not to do?
I think having some type of a skincare regimen is important. And I'm not really brand specific. I try different things. I just think the fact that you're doing it is important. I will say sometimes I'll leave my stuff on my eyes, but I'll take everything off of the rest of my face. And then even at night, I might put like a rose oil or something like that. I like that. I like doing, using eye creams and exfoliating peels, those kinds of things, just so that your skin stays more radiant and then you're putting back the moisture in. So I think having a skincare regimen is important. They talk about, having sunscreen, using that is important. We didn't know that back in the 70s, when I was laying on an aluminum foil blanket.
with oil.
Yes. We're using the oil for a different reason now, but I think having a skincare regimen is important. And again, less is more, not thinking that you have to put a ton on.
Yeah. And I think that, as far as some of the trends, which we'll talk about after the break, and then how to be able to organize our beautiful little routine, because you've created some products that have amazing simplicity to them that's going to help us to stay really organized and keep our makeup to a minimum as far as maybe the expense we're putting into it. But also, I don't want, like, sometimes I look in my makeup drawer and I'm like, I can't even tell you how old that makeup is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know that we ever really finish. Maybe mascara we go through quite often because it does dry out.
Right.
But, and we should change that often. But I'm telling you, I have makeup that I don't know how old it is. And I'm thinking, why do I still have this? And it's like, but it's good. And I liked it at one point. So we'll talk about getting organized as we come off of the break here. But I got to tell you that, you guys, I'm thankful for makeup. I'm so thankful for makeup.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thankful for Sherri, because she is going to share with us some great tips and techniques, and we're going to talk a little bit about some trends, but mainly how to be able to organize our beauty regime here. But Sherri, I just came off of a 4-month speaking and show tour, and I got to tell you, I'm exhausted, and that's why I'm grateful for makeup, because I can give myself that fresh look every time. But I'm not 25 anymore, and you guys, and it's a good thing that I'm not 25, because I've had to really learn about supplements and antioxidants, and like Sherri even said, having a good skincare regime. But I have to supplement and take these antioxidants in order to keep myself in optimum health. And I found something that I really like, and it's easy for me to travel with, and it's easy for me to have access to, and it's called Glutathione. And it's a liquid form of an antioxidant and a detox system that I just kind of like. I do my little shot every day. It's pre-measured. It's really easy to do. And what it does is it helps to be able to kind of build that immune system. But some of the benefits that I'm getting since I've been on it now for a little over 30 days is I am definitely more energetic. I certainly have better sleep, and I noticed the better sleep because I forgot to take it on my last trip. And I noticed that my sleep was a little uneasy, and I had a little unrest going on in there. So it definitely helped me to have that more restorative sleep. But I also got smoother and healthier skin, kind of like that little bounce back that I had. And of course, if you're over a certain age, maybe 60 or something like that, you'll also know some benefits for sharper memory. But this is the one that I think I'm most pleased with Glutathione, and that is right now, my hormone imbalance. So, the hot flashes, the inconsistency with my hormones, it seems to be balancing that out as well, because I'm sleeping better, I'm feeling better with it. So I like it. You might like it too. It's called Glutathione, and this is how you're going to find out a little bit more about it. Go to glutathione.com/beauty. Let them know that Bonnie from Beauty Inside and Out sent you there, and try it. It comes in a 30-day pack, so try it. If you love it, I know you're going to buy it again. So it's glutaDose.com/beauty, glutaDose.com/beauty. I think you'll like it. All right, you guys, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with Sherri, and she's going to give us some great tips and techniques of how to be beautiful like she is. Hey everybody, so we're still live here on Facebook. Thanks so much for joining us. Oh, Janie's from the UK, so we have France and the UK joining us here. Oh, and Gloria, my friend Gloria, she says she finally found a brand that she loves, and you don't need a lot of makeup. And I was on the phone, Gloria and I were on Zoom this morning too, and Gloria, you looked fantastic. I love the new shorter haircut. I forgot to mention that to you, but you look fantastic. Of course, Janie says that you look great. So we got Jen that's watching, Penny Burns. Thanks, you guys, for joining us. She says you look 25. 25. Yeah, I think that's beautiful here. And your skin is radiant. So when we come back, you got to give us a little bit more of your tips and tricks here to have of how you have that radiant skin.
I'll do it.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
But Sherri, I've followed you for a long time as well. So thanks for following me. But, as we've been in the beauty industry that we have, and I know a lot of my friends on Facebook we're from the beauty tribe, is a lot of times people we don't think that we can reinvent ourselves or kind of like, take that next step up. And I think one of the things that you've done in doing these videos for makeup, it's really allowed you to kind of prosper into a new business, which we're going to talk about in our next segment here. And some of the items that you're selling, that you've designed and that you're selling, which I think is a beautiful thing, because as much as you love doing hair, it's not something that we can physically do forever.
Right. It's a tough business for sure. But I always say I make most of my money with my arms up in the air, for sure. But I love makeup, and I love beauty in general. All of it goes together, and I just fashion, and I'm a bit of a retail junkie as well. So I do like buying new things and trying new things, and anything sparkly catches my eye.
And I'm sure that your clients love buying things from you as well. Because you're so excited about the products and these new things. So I'm sure that they love buying from you as well.
Getting ready to come back. Here we go.
Okay. Thank you so much.
America.com.
You are listening to Beauty Inside and Out with Bonadeo. If you have a question or comment about our show, please send an email to Bonnie@BonnieBonadeo.com. That's Bonnie@BonnieBonadeo.com. Now back to Beauty Inside and Out.
Welcome back, everybody. My guest is Sherri Jessee. She is a hairstylist and a makeup artist. Her work has been featured in Sophisticates Magazine, US Weekly, Cosmopolitan, and OK Magazine, which is fantastic. She's done numerous opportunities to be able to do hair and makeup in the personal and professional sectors of beauty and retail. And one of the things that she's done recently, not only has she started these live video sessions where she's showing up with no makeup on and then putting makeup on herself and doing all different techniques and everything, which you can find on her Facebook page, Sherri Jessee. And let me spell that out for my audio listeners. It's Sherri, and then Jessee is Jessee. So look her up on Facebook and then join her every Friday. What time is it? 9 a.m. Eastern?
8 a.m.
8? Oh, you're forcing me to get up early and do my makeup?
Yes, I do my makeup video, and then I go to exercise class, and then I head to work.
Well, you must look pretty fine going to exercise class.
I've got the brightest lips in the whole class.
They have no idea. So we're always threatened by people like you that show up with a full face of makeup, and it's like, this is a workout place. Why do you look so good? But they probably are not aware that you're doing some massive educational opportunities and connection with people on your Facebook page. But one of the things that I really love that you've just started doing is you've created Elegant Organized Beauty. And these are products to be able to help us as everyday consumers kind of like get more organized and get more savvy with our beauty routine. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay, well, I have two products, one being a magnetic palette. And so this is an example, and then I've got three total to choose from, and they're on my website. My cousin Mary is an artist, and she did the design, so that's where
I love it
came from. So that's the part that it feels really special and high-end, because each one has like a beautiful original oil painting. And then inside, this is my well-used palette, but you have a full mirror so that you can use that to get ready. And then this part is magnetic, and you can take out and put in the colors so that you can carry just what you need, just your favorite colors.
So One of the things that I think a lot of times we don't know is, as consumers, is that mid-level to high-level lines, a lot of times they build their products in metal cases. So you can kind of pop them out of their casing and add them to a magnetic case so you can carry what you want.
Yes. Some brands will sell them in the pan only, and sometimes like I'll literally just pry them out. Some of these colors I just pried out of a palette. This right here, let's see, I'm trying to think. Well, this one I pried out. Some of these are things that I have. This one I pried out of a palette. So then instead of carrying 5 colors of glitter, I only wanted one, my favorite color, so that's all I needed. So I literally just pry it out.
So right there, that's outside of maybe a foundation and a liquid, maybe highlighter or something like that. That's it. That's your face right there.
Yes. So what I think is that if you have a light color and a dark color and something in between, you can blend those together and you can get your high, low, and mid color. Then I like to have an accent color, and right here I've got some accents like golds, purples, some metallics. This is my blush color, a contour color, a highlight color. And then just for a pop, my friend DJ Victory, she has a company, Macy and Mia. She has this wonderful press of glitter. I just pried one out and keep this in there.
And
just
where do you, for our audio listeners, where are you putting the glitter? Because I mean, glitter in 55 years of age kind of sounds scary to me.
What I would do with this, I would just touch in like that, and literally I just stop right there on top of my eye. Check that.
Okay, so just right above the iris of the eye, just to be able to create a little bit of
I just touch
shiny
it
pop.
right there. Yep, just to give just a little pop. That's it.
Oh, look at how glittery that is. That's beautiful. Right? Yeah.
Isn't it pretty?
So my listeners, Sherri just took, like, she literally just took her finger, dabbed it into this glittery palette, and then put it on her eyelid to be able to kind of create a little bit more of that wet sheen. So it doesn't look glittery from my perspective. It looks kind of wet, like a wet sheen.
Yeah, it's actually glitter, but you know, sometimes on camera it's hard to get glitter to read well.
Yeah, but that's okay, because I don't want to be wearing glitter. I want it to just feel
it just gives you that just sparkle. And you know, when you're when I fix my makeup in the morning, I don't even look at myself the rest of the day. Everything I put on is long wear. So we don't really do makeup for ourselves. We do it for other people that are looking at us, right? And if you have a glow, you have some glitter, a little sparkle, it's fun for people to, you know, to engage with you. And I think that's why I like glitter, because it gives you a little pop of sparkle.
And I think that a lot of times we think that as we get older, we're not supposed to be wearing sheen and shiny and glittery and glossy and stuff like that. But I think it's where you put it. So maybe you got matte lips, but you have a little shine on the eye. Or maybe
exactly
on the lips, but not on the eye.
Yes. Yeah. It's about having the right balance, right? Not too much of anything. But that's a good point that you have. I most of the time do a matte lip, because matte lips and long wears last.
Yes.
They don't come off. They don't transfer onto your glass. They stay on all day. I overline my lips a little bit. I don't want them coming off. You know, I don't want to go back to the small ones. I want the ones I draw on to stay on. So if I work with a long wear, then it stays on. I don't have to worry. So I prefer a matte, but if you want more of a dewy look, you know, glosses are good too.
Yeah. And if you're young, obviously you can wear anything you want and it's okay. We remember those days. It's kind of creating that refinement to what. So the matte lipsticks. Are you saying that that's in a stick form or maybe a wand form? What's your favorite? How are you applying that?
I'll show you. Here's two of my very favorites, and these are actually ones that you can get at the like at the drugstore. This Maybelline Super Stay Matte Ink is color number 65. It's like your lips but better, and it lasts all day.
It's kind of a nice mauve.
It's just really beautiful. And then this one's by L'Oreal. You mentioned L'Oreal. This Infallible. This is the matte liquid lipstick. It's really nice too. And these are neutral shades. A couple of weeks ago, I did a whole video and I swatched like 10 different matte liquid lipsticks. But of all of those, I tried these two are my very favorite as far as they don't make my lips feel dry and they stay on really well.
Yeah, the Infallible one I'm a big fan of. I think that's what I'm wearing right now, and just kind of a more rosy tone.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So these are great. And, you know, especially, like I said, if you're overlining your lips aren't what they used to be. You don't want it to feather in the cracks. A liquid lip longwear matte won't do that. It stays on good.
So we don't need to be injecting in our lips. We can just kind of do the outer lining.
Paint this, you know, put this on. I could do the whole lip. I do 2 coats and then I let it dry and I don't touch it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's
so really I love this. Doing the liquid lip. I didn't put any highlight on my skin today, but I do think it's looking kind of glowy, but I've been doing kind of like a glow peel lately from a brand called M61. When I went to Japan, a friend of mine that was on the trip, she turned me on to that, and I've been doing this glow peel. It has salicylic acid and I think maybe a glycolic acid. So I think that, like, my skin is just looking amazing with that.
I was gifted some products recently, and for those of you that do like the little gift boxes that get shipped to you every month, you can find some amazing finds in there. And then it's just a matter of making sure that, you know, you save what it is that you love and order it again, because I think that there is some consistency in that. But they're little pads. They got the glycolic acid on them, and they're little pads. And they just come in like a little, you know, container, like a like the old Pond's cold cream type of thing. And you just take it off, and then you use a pad on your face every day. I noticed a big difference in just the texture of my skin doing that every day. And I think that's good for aging skin, because we're not producing that collagen as fast. And then we're not sloughing the layers off as quickly either.
Yeah. So I think I've really fell in love with that. You can get that one at Blue Mercury, that M61, and it is in a little pad, so it's super easy to use.
Oh, good. Yeah. So we're using the same thing, maybe just a different brand. And that's really
again, it's maybe not the brand, but just the fact that you're doing it. And I do think that kind of that peel does help. And then then your moisturizer just really soaks in better too.
So I know you talked about, you know, for more aging skin, and I think today, because, you know, we've got so many environmental things going on, and we're not as conscious to maybe the type of things that are happening around us naturally. And I know I have a lot of friends that don't wear a lot of makeup. They do not wear a lot of makeup. But then when I ask them about skincare and sunscreen and stuff like that, they're also not doing that. So give us some tips on maybe what we could be doing, because I mean, I don't want to do a big fancy, you know, 10-piece skincare regime. What's the basics that we need to focus in on?
Yeah, I don't do a lot of things either. I do the cleanser, I do that glow peel, that little pad, the glow peel, and then I do a moisturizer, and sometimes I do an eye cream, not always. That's what I do, just those things. And then at night, I do like to use some of that rose oil. And if I use, like, maybe sometimes I'll use a makeup wipe, and I'll add the rose oil to that.
Oh, that's a very good idea, because they can be drying.
Yes. So I add the rose oil on the makeup wipe, and then I'm not messing up a washcloth, you know, because that's, you know, so I wipe everything off with that, and then I get that oil, and it just, I've loved doing that. I've been doing that for like a year now.
Yeah. So here's a couple questions for you, Sherri. You can be honest if you want to. I know you will, though. Do you take your makeup off every single night?
I take it off of my face, but I don't always take it off of my eyes. So in other words, like my mascara maybe will stay on, and my eyebrows. And maybe even my lips, but everything on my skin comes off every night. Okay.
And I know that as we age too, and maybe even some people just aren't born, like I was not born with eyebrows. So obviously I am applying eyebrows every day. It's the one thing that if I was like on a deserted island, I would still want my brows. Yeah. And, you know, and literally I'm just taking a powder and I just have an angled brush. What do you do for your brows?
Well, what I did for my brows about a year ago is I did the microblading.
Oh, okay.
Because like I tweezed mine like completely off, you know, all that tweezing I did in the 90s. So there were like bare patches. So I did the microblading. It used to, I would say, if I were in the deserted island, I'd need like an eyebrow powder. And now I don't worry with that. The microblading was really very helpful.
And that is
So-
where it's the microblading for our listeners. Explain that a little bit more, that technique.
It's just like a little tiny needle blade, and you dip it into the pigment, and you're literally like making small hairline strokes like you would with a tattoo, but it makes like little hairs with the ink, and it's like a semi-permanent, lasts maybe like a year or so. Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of tattooing, but it's not going that deep like a tattoo would be permanent. It's semi-permanent.
And it's in hair-like strokes.
And it's hair-like strokes,
So
of course.
Natural.
Right. So it's only on the top layers of the skin, which again, you know, as we know, we slough off our top layers of skin. So this is why it wouldn't be permanent. I know that some people have done that and they've had amazing success, but what's some recommendations you would provide the listeners if they were going to be in search for that particular procedure?
I think you would just have to like look at a portfolio of the work that they've done. You know, like with anything, you see somebody, you love their hair, who did your hair, that kind of thing. And you want to see what they've done, see a portfolio of their work. The same thing with that, because definitely if it's something that's going to be there for, you know, a year or more, you want to be having a professional that you trust.
Yeah. But the eyebrows, I know that, do you wear the eyelash extensions?
I don't. I'm actually trained to do them, but I just don't like having things on my eyelashes. I can barely even tolerate false eyelashes. And if I do them, usually I'll just do like maybe a half a strip or individuals. But that's just me. I put them on people all the time in photo shoots, and they love them and they look amazing. I have pretty long lashes, and for me, I use Latisse.
Okay, so you're using a product that's a lash enhancer.
Yeah, a lash booster. So
Okay,
I use that.
right.
I've been using that maybe 1 or 2 years, about 2 years.
And so that's,
And I always had long lashes, but it helps them. Yeah, it kind of like gave me the lashes of being a kid back again.
yeah, I do. I do use Revitalash. I just don't use it consistent enough. But when I'm consistent with it, I actually do have fuller, more voluptuous eyelashes. But I'm noticing when I'm out and about and I'm on the road and everything, that the eyelash extensions are, you know, just like anything, you know, we kind of like go over the top with a particular new trend, and then it kind of scales back down. But the women are kind of, ladies, I think you're just doing a little bit too much eyelash extensions. I think it doesn't look natural anymore. I think that they're sticking out, you know, an inch from your eyes from the side profile is too much. And I think it's overdone. So thank you for sharing that you don't, and that, you know, that the natural look is okay. It's okay.
Yeah. I think, again, less is more. And if you have too much of something and it ends up looking where it doesn't look natural, then it's just people's like, wow, nice lashes. You know, they're not just saying, wow, you look beautiful. And that's the idea behind makeup. You want to say, you look beautiful, not, wow, nice makeup. If that makes sense.
Or, oh, I love your fake eyelashes.
Yeah. You want people just to notice you for, you know, for you, not the makeup. And if you have things that are too much and just screaming at you, they're just going to be looking at the makeup, not as, you know, your whole features.
Yeah, that's true. There's a little bit of disconnect in that if they're just kind of focused on the application of enhancing you versus you in there.
Yes.
Now I did try the eyelash extensions. It was actually one of my shows, and they did a beautiful job, I got to tell you. And we did a more glam approach to it. So I'll post it on Facebook here, the date of that particular show, so you guys can listen to it again. But we wanted to do something that was more obvious, so they did the glam approach. Unfortunately, I had a reaction to the adhesive. Yeah. And I could not get those things off my eyes fast enough. And of course, the adhesive stays on pretty well. So it was, you know, it was a good week to 10 days before I was able to have my eyeballs back again because my eyes swelled up so bad. And I didn't know that. I mean, I'd used adhesives before with false eyelashes strips. So it was just one of those, you know, unfortunate circumstances that happened to me. So
I know people that do them. I know people that get them, but it's not something for me. Like I said, I like a little bit of maybe less is more, but yeah, that was a bad experience for you for sure.
Yeah, no. And so it just kind of put me in that space that I can't do it again. So I'm always looking for, you know, how to be able to enhance my eyes, how to be able to have my lashes look longer. So what are some, what are some ideas in order to kind of like, I mean, I've obviously got my glasses on, but what can I do to make my eyes pop? I don't have,
I think the eyebrows are definitely important. And you know, the whole thing, making sure that they start far enough over and end far enough out.
In more?
So, yep. Okay. So it's going to kind of like go up from the corner of your nose up and then over, and then from the corner of your nose here out. That's where you want your eyebrow to end. So making sure, because I think some people, they're too small, they're too short, and if you extend them out wider, it makes your eye look bigger and wider. I think putting just a little bit like of a medium tone right here helps to emphasize.
So in the crease.
That brings out your eye, and that could be in a matte shade, not anything. Mostly on your eyes, you want to use a little more matte shades. And then if right here, if you do anything sparkly, I would do it right there.
So on the lid, sparkly or shimmery? On
shimmery, golden, you know, things with like a little more texture to them. But if you put a lot of texture, for example, if you put a lot of highlight or like really dewy things like in through here, it ends up showing lines and wrinkles. And
that is not good. Now, what about, we haven't talked about blush. So what's your stance, and what's some techniques that we can talk about real quick before we close our show on blush?
Okay. Well, in my palette, I have this blush right here. This is my favorite blush, and I actually have this on my website. It's called Shy Blush. I love it because it has a little bit of a gold to it. And I usually work with an angled brush.
Angled brush.
And then the thing, whenever you're applying your product, you're going to just barely lightly tap, and then blend, blend, blend. Okay, and then blush, I'll usually start right here and then kind of blend it up and into the hairline. So if it's kind of like right through there, then that kind of helps to give, you know, shape out.
So on the ball of the cheek a little bit, and blend it in really good, and then extend it up into the
all the way up to the hairline.
All the way up into the hairline, and of course up and out, because you want to kind of create that lift and
And this has the gold undertone, so that's where I'm getting the sheen just from that blush.
Oh, I like that.
Something else that I will do, this is a little trick. I will dust in here with this and put this over my lips. Now look how shiny my lips look now.
Will you post on my Facebook page what particular brand and product that is? Because I'm interested in that one. Yeah. Good. And now, Sherri,
see where I put the blush over my lips now, and that makes my lips look shiny.
But it's still a matte, even though it's got a little sheen. It didn't like make them overly glossy type of thing.
Yeah.
Tell us, because I know you've got some specials for our listeners on your magnetic palettes, and some of your products. So tell us how we get to that website to be able to buy these.
You can get my palette. You can choose one of the 3 designs. You can buy it empty with nothing in it. I sell it with my favorite colors, which is the Fab Friday Face, or you can buy it with 3 neutral shades. So you can get it 3 ways, either full with like a medium amount, or like full with all my favorite things. On my website, sherrijessee.com, and everybody that uses, if you enter the code BEaUty25, you get 25% off your entire purchase.
Oh, that's very generous. Thank you.
For all of your listeners.
Yeah.
And then the second thing that I have is this matte organizing makeup bag. And this is a tri-fold design. So it opens up right here, and your palette is going to fit in right here.
Oh, perfect. So in a mesh bag, so you can just place the palette in there. Then you've got room for your brushes, your skincare.
And then you fold in all your other favorite stuff. And then you just fold it up like this, and you're good to go. And everything that I carry for a photo shoot or my own stuff, I have separate things for that. But I can do an entire face with everything all in one place.
That's fantastic. So we can get organized. We can reduce all the amount of products that we have. You've been very helpful to help me be able to, because I'm going to go back and I'm going to open up my makeup drawer, and I'm going to be like, okay, it's overwhelming. Let's figure out what are my favorites. Let's get them in the palette, because you've gifted me one of these, both of these items. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah. Just carry your favorites. You don't need, you know, and usually in a palette, you have one favorite here, one favorite there. Prime out, put them in one space, and then you're good to go.
Oh, that's beautiful. Good. So you guys, I'm going to post this on Facebook. So, and you guys follow me on my social media. So you're on my personal Facebook. And like Sherri said, you know, I'm at my max of people, but you can always follow me. But I also have Beauty Inside and Out group and Beauty Inside and Out business page. So if you go there, I'll make sure that I post Sherri's information. The other thing I want to share with you is you can always find every single one of my guests offers something to you as listeners. And you can find that at bonniebonadeo.com/free-gifts. So Sherri's information is up there as well. You can click the link. It'll take you right there. And thank you, Sherri, for being with us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's been so fun.
It's been lots of fun. All right, you guys, next week we've got the hairdresser of hairdressers that's going to be joining me, Mr. Sam Villa himself. He is one of the most world-renowned hairdressers. Hairdressers in our industry love him because we can learn things, but he does amazing things with hair. So if you're not familiar with Sam Villa, look him up, but he's going to be our guest next week on Beauty Inside and Out. And remember, you guys, to always be you in beauty. Thank you for joining me.
All clear. Great job, Bonnie.